So good morning. Today we have Ross Matthews with us. He's a player for Raith Rovers. So good morning, Ross.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right. When did you start playing football?
Probably since I could walk, to be honest. My family's all big football fans, and since I can remember, my dad just always try to get me to play football. I was a season ticket holder at Tynecastle. My family are big Hearts fans, so season ticket holder since I was 2 years old, I think. I used to fall asleep on my dad's lap while watching the games. So yeah, since I can remember, my first team was at Edinburgh City when I think I was 6 year old maybe when I joined. But yeah, so for as long as I can remember, to be honest.
Who did you look up to when you were younger?
A few different players. When I was really young, my favourite players at Hearts, I used to always have tops with either Colin Cameron, used to play with Raith, Stefan Adam was a striker at Hearts as well. And then when I grew up a bit, I used to love watching Steven Gerrard, just when I kind of played midfield, and I loved watching him play. Just the goals he'd score, he could tackle, he could pass, he could do a bit of everything, and yeah, I loved watching him. And then probably another one, Rudy Scatchell, when I was obviously a big Hearts fan at the time, watching him used to always score against Hibs, and then he ended up coming to Raith, playing with him, which was a bit of a dream for me. I know that sounds sad, but it was good.
No, it makes a lot of sense. You've grown up, like you said, being a season ticket holder since you were like 2. It makes a lot of sense that they're the people you looked up to. You got the opportunity to start developing the Hearts Academy. What does it feel to get the opportunity to start off at a club like Hearts, especially since you've been a Hearts fan since you were younger?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was at Hearts since I think I started when I was 10 or 11, maybe even younger actually. And till I was 16, I enjoyed every second of it with some good players there. And just youth football is just about developing and enjoying yourself. But to be honest, my favourite year at youth football was at Raith when I joined. So I got released from Hearts when I was 16, and then joined under 17s at Raith. I had 1 year there before I signed my apprenticeship deal and went full time. But that year at Raith was brilliant. We had a really good team and a couple of coaches. Hugh McCann ran the academy, and he was brilliant for me. I thought his coaching was brilliant, and he gave you that kind of freedom to go out and enjoy yourself. And yeah, as much as it was good when I was at Hearts and the youth teams, my favourite year was at Raith.
And that's what I was leading to. In 2012, you made the move to Raith, and you made your debut for the first team on the 28th of December 2013 against Livingston. Leaving the unfortunate score aside, what did you feel to get that first appearance at only 17?
Yeah, I think there was tons of injuries or illnesses. I just remember it was like myself, Louis Vaughan, and then I know a couple of the apprentices, Cam Robertson, Lee McCrory, David Bates. We were kind of all on the bench at that time. And like you said, I think we were 3-0 down or something at the time when I came on. I only came on for 5 minutes maybe. I think I was lucky to maybe get a couple of touches of the ball, but my family weren't even there because I just had no idea that I was maybe going to even play. A couple of my friends, luckily, because it was away at Livingston, they came to watch. So actually, a couple of my friends were there. I think that might have been the only game they came to that season. But yeah, I still think of my debut as against Dumbarton, which was the following season, the last game where I started it. I feel like that Livy game, I came on for 5-10 minutes and hardly touched the ball, and I don't know, I just feel like it was more because of injuries and illnesses rather than me actually kind of making myself force my way into the team maybe.
You've had the opportunity to develop right through the team anyway throughout the past couple of years as well, and earn your place properly in that team. So I get what you mean when you say like you don't take that as your like full debut.
Yeah.
At the end of the 2016-17 season, you were relegated. How did you and the team lift yourself back up, and how much work is there behind those seasons until you made it back to the Championship?
Yeah, first of all, that season was horrible. It was by far my worst moment in football. I still remember the day we got relegated, and just it was horrible. Obviously, one of my best mates is Johnny Court, so he played at the same time, the same team. I remember just going back with him, and none of us really even spoke on the way back. And that whole season was pretty brutal. But after that, we've obviously had to bounce back in League One, and with a couple of good seasons, we're unlucky under Barry Smith. But as soon as the gaffer John McGunn came in, I just seen such a difference. By far the best manager I've worked under. His attention to detail, just the way he works with everyone. Like, everyone knows what they're doing, and it's like I could see from the moment he's came in to now how much the club's kind of progressed. Just every single part of it's better. Not just the football side, the other side. I feel like there's more of a togetherness around the club. And since he's came in, I think he's obviously signs good players. He's made really good signings. He's improved the players like myself that were already there, and just became an all-round better team, to be honest. And I think since he came in, it was just a matter of time till we got promoted.
From that promotion to the Championship, that first season, so last season, you had a great run, and you got the opportunity to play the Premiership playoffs. What standards do you think have been set ahead of this season, both by staff and players, looking back on last season?
Yeah, I think we showed last year just how good we could be, and we've set the standards pretty high, to be honest. I mean, because we only came up the year before, I don't think anyone expected us to do so well. But I think we always had a belief that we could, because we knew we had good players, played a good style of football, and everyone knew what they were doing. But for this season, I don't see why we can't go and do the same again. If not better. It's going to be difficult. We've lost some good players, obviously. Obviously, the likes of Reagan Hendry, Dan Armstrong. I can name another few players that we've lost, but we've replaced well. I mean, we've made some great signings. Been really impressed with Dario and Aidan Connolly. I think they've been brilliant since they've came in. I don't see why we can't go on to have a really good season. I feel like we're confident going into any game. We can compete with anyone. So it's just, this season's going to be, every team is going to fancy their chances. So it's going to be so tight, but I think everyone in our dressing room's fancying our chances.
I think, like, looking at the League Cup scores you've had and the pre-season friendlies and everything, it's been a good couple of games, and like the first couple of games of the season. And I remember talking to someone about the game against Hibs, and they were like, it's not as one-sided as the score looks. Like, the team played really well, and I think everybody has their hopes up ahead of this season, and expecting what you said, some like a repeat of last season.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've set those standards for ourselves last year, so we've got to deal with those expectations. Like you said, I thought, obviously I never played, but I watched the League Cup games. Obviously I was at all of them. I thought we played some brilliant football. First game this season, thought we were incredible for 60 minutes, and that was just an absolute freak of a game towards the end, which was disappointing. And then obviously it was disappointing just there on Saturday. But I thought we probably deserved a draw, although we weren't our best. I think anyone at Raith will admit that we could play a lot better. But yeah, like you said, we've set such high standards that, of course, the fans are going to expect the same, if not better. You always want improvement, and that's the same as us. We want to improve on last season. Our goal is always to get promoted. Like, you wouldn't go in season thinking otherwise. So obviously that's the dream, to be honest.
How hard was it to play last season with empty stands and not being able to celebrate each win with the fans?
Yeah, it was pretty horrible. It's just not the same. You're going out onto the pitch and you don't get that same buzz. Like, I always think back to the Dunfermline game. We won 5-1. If the fans were there, that would have been incredible. It's not as good. Luckily, the fans have been back and looking forward to the game on Sunday because I feel like there's going to be a good crowd. I'm sure Aberdeen will bring a good crowd. And then obviously after that, we've got that Dunfermline game. So I've missed games with a bit of atmosphere about them. And like you said, last season, just you obviously know people are watching. Who are watching on Raith TV and everything. You're getting a lot of comments on social media, but it's not the same as actually having the fans there. Especially when we're playing well like last season, there's nothing better than having the fans behind you.
Does having fans back at the stadium make you think, let's make up for what they didn't see last year, let's do the same thing again? As like last year, they weren't able to enjoy it with you in the ground.
Yeah, hopefully that's the aim. Everything that we missed out in last season, we want to do this season with the fans. So, like you said, it's a bit strange. Like your team scores a goal, you're celebrating. It's just not the same if there's a full South stand there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. For all the games, but especially the derby games. I'm hoping for the same as last season.
Yeah. Your contract was due to run out this year, but you chose to extend your contract until 2024. What led you to make that decision to stay at Raith?
To be honest, just because I really enjoy it. It's not often you come along. I was fortunate enough to get offered a contract 3 years. Most players at Raith, anyway, it's different obviously at the bigger teams, but most players at Raith don't get offered contracts with that kind of security. And I don't see why I would want to move when I'm enjoying it. The style of football we play is brilliant. I like all the guys in the changing room. Everyone around the club is brilliant towards me. The gaffer and Smudger, I really like playing under them. Just combination of all these things, and I just really enjoy it. So don't see the point in moving.
Definitely. I think when you see something's like set up well, you don't really want to change it, especially when you've, like you said, you've got like great group of boys behind you, like the staff and everything as well.
Yeah.
You have kicked off the league season with a 4-4 draw against Hamilton and a 1-0 loss to Inverness. How do you think the team can build up from these two games going on to like the rest of the season?
Yeah, obviously it's easy to improve on that, but talking back in the first game, again, I never played, but I watched it, and the first 60 minutes just showed what we can do. I thought we were brilliant, like different class. It was so enjoyable to watch. The style of football we played, the speed that we played at, it was just obviously disappointing. It was like night and day from the first 60 minutes to the last 30. But I think there was still a lot of positives to take from that game. It was just one of those mental games that you probably won't see a team come back from 4-0 back again this year. Who knows? But in that second game, obviously I played in it, and I think everyone knows we've got a terrible record against Inverness. So I think we were all desperate to turn that around, and I think we deserved a draw, but on the day, I don't think we were good enough for the 3 points, and it was a wonder goal for them that scored it. But definitely over the two games, we'd have wanted to come out with more than 1 point, but there was a lot of positives to take, and I know I'm definitely still confident for the rest of the season.
Definitely. Looking for example, like at that first game of the season, that you were like 4-0 up. You showed like a load. Played really good football throughout, like you said, the first 60 minutes. something happened between like then at the end of the game, but like you still set like really high standards of what the season is going to be like throughout those first 60 minutes, like the style of football, like the goals coming and everything. That second game was like unlucky, and to be fair, watching like highlights and everything, I did feel like Raith deserved at least the draw, but like you showed that you can do it and you're getting there. It's just need to work on it for like the full time, if you know what I mean. Like you showed the great football you can play as a team throughout both of those games.
Yeah.
What effect do you think that supporters and the stands can have throughout the season for you?
Oh, it has a massive effect, huge effect. When we're playing well, it gives you a buzz. When the Mr. Fans singing, the season before COVID, the fans were the best I've seen them. I still remember, especially the away days. I remember the game at was it Partick Thistle, the Challenge Cup. It was the semi-final. The fans were brilliant that day. And then obviously the year before, the Dunfermline game, the 3-0 game, I remember the fans being incredible. It just gives you that extra buzz. And obviously it just makes the game more exciting if fans are there. They can play a massive part, 100%. I think the style of football we play, they're probably going to have to be patient sometimes, because I think it's like at any club, and when you pass the ball, I think part of our football is obviously passing out from the back, and sometimes fans want you to be a bit more direct, but I think you just need to be patient sometimes and wait for that gap to open. And yeah, the fans can sometimes get on your back when you try and pass it a bit too much, but I think they've got to be patient with us and support us, and I'm confident that we can have another good season.
I think like I was looking over social media and everything, and like they're really excited. Everybody's really excited to be able to get back on the ground and support you and cheer you on throughout the whole game. So I think they will have like a huge impact as well. Which you had a great season without them last year, but I think with them on the stands, it'll be more enjoyable, more memorable.
Yeah, 100%. Like you're saying with social media, even though they weren't there last year, all the players were getting messages all the time, and we were getting support in different ways rather than being in the stand, and it makes such a difference. Hopefully this year will be a bit different. Hopefully the fans are producing a good atmosphere, and yeah, it'll be good.
You have been drawn against Aberdeen for the second round of the League Cup. How prepared do you see the team ahead of this game, and what's the spirit like in general within the squad?
Oh, spirit's always good in preparation. Under John McGlynn, we're always very prepared. Never under-prepared anyway, that's for sure. We've been already watching them. This is only Wednesday now. We've spent the last 2 days watching videos of them, so I'm sure that'll continue during the week. So we know exactly their style of play, all the players, and yeah, we do that before every game. We're always prepared going into the game. I think everyone's just looking forward to it. You always want to play in the cup games. You always want a good draw against a bigger team, so we can go out and prove ourselves and test ourselves, see how good we actually are. And yeah, like you said, we played Hibs in pre-season, and I thought they were brilliant, to be fair. But I thought we also held our own against them. They played well and scored a couple of good goals. But after watching that game, I feel like we could give anyone a good game, and yeah, it should be exciting going into the game on Sunday. It'll be tough, but everyone's looking forward to it.
I think it'll be a really good game, and like you said, you improved from playing against bigger teams each time, and looking at the Hibs game, just looking at first half, second half, you matched them really well in the second half. So I feel like the Aberdeen game will be really good.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you have for Rovers fans for this season?
Just turn up in your numbers and just I want to see a good atmosphere, which what it's been like since they've came back, and even before that. I think just get behind the team, trust in the team and the manager and what we're trying to do. Be patient with us because we're trying to do the right things. But yeah, I think I'm excited to have the fans back, and the rest of the team are excited to have the fans back, and I just want to see as many as I can at Starts Park, especially like I was saying for the big games coming up. The Derby game against Dunfermline will be brilliant. I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere, and yeah, our message just be keep on turning up and supporting the team.
What would you say is your best memory as a Rovers player?
Best memory. There was 2 games last season that I loved, which was probably the 2 obvious ones. The Dunfermline 5-1 game. The only thing was missing from that was fans being there, obviously. And then again, the Hearts. What was the final score? 3-2. Was at Tynecastle. 3-2. Obviously, growing up a Hearts fan, always wanted to play there. Beating them was all the better because all my family and friends are Hearts fans. And again, gutted they weren't there for different reasons. See Hearts losing. Yeah, just those 2 games, getting promoted. That was a good feeling after, like I said, I was part of the team that went down, so I kind of felt a bit of pressure that I wanted to be part of that team that got promoted. Yeah, I'd say those 2 games. Any, like I've said a million times, any Derby games, they're the ones that I really look forward to when the fixtures come out at the start of the season. They're the ones that I'll look for. I'm looking forward to that game in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Another good memory.
How much does the atmosphere within change within the squad between a Derby game and any other league game?
I think everyone knows the importance of it. Myself, growing up a Hearts fan, I know how people think about Derby games, Hearts, Hibs. Like, I know what it means to the fans. I think we'll prepare for it like any other game. The last thing you want to do is get too hyped up for it and you don't play your style of football. But yeah, I think everyone in the change room knows the importance of the game, what it means to the fans. And the new guys coming this season, they'll learn all about it. Everyone in that change room will make sure they know what it means to play in the Derby and to hopefully beat Dunfermline.
Yeah, hopefully. What advice would you give to kids who want to take football as their career path?
Advice, I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but just work hard and work hard on your weaknesses more than anything. So if I could go back when I was playing football, well, even still actually, not even going back, I'll still try and work on the things that I'm not so good at. It's easy if you're good at passing the ball with your right foot. It's easy to go and practice that. You're probably not going to get much better than you already are, but to go and take the ball on your left foot, if you're not so good at it, just go. I used to go and just go down to the park and hit against a wall for ages, just so I get used to the feeling of hitting it. But yeah, just practice, work hard, and the most important thing is just enjoy it. There's no point in putting too much pressure on yourself. And the best football that anyone plays is when you go out and just relax and enjoy it. If you put too much pressure on yourself, you'll end up not playing the type of football that you want to play. And I think that's the main thing. Just enjoy it, to be honest.
I think pretty much everybody says that like if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to do as best as you can because you're going to be worrying about what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right. Yep. And that's not just like within football, it's with like everything you do in general.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're right. It's just for life. If you're constantly stressed or worrying about things, you're never gonna do as well as you can do. So yeah, I would say obviously everyone cares, so it's hard to not get stressed about things. But yeah, just relax and enjoy yourself.
Definitely. Just to finish off, then, what's the best thing football has given you throughout like your whole career?
Best thing. That's probably the amount of people I've met through football. Literally, so many of my mates are people that I've met through football. Going back to when I was in youth teams at Hearts and even Raith youth teams. I actually just met up with tons of the guys that was in the Raith youth team with on Saturday. I hadn't seen them in a while, and it was great just seeing them all. And yeah, I'd say just the people that I've met, and I feel lucky to be able to do this as a job, to be honest, because I just really enjoy doing it. To come in, especially now we're full time, to come in full time and play football, and I mean it's Raith, so you're not getting paid thousands of pounds a week, but to get paid to do it, it's yeah, I feel lucky.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the thing most kids wish for, apart from like getting to play for huge teams and everything, it's to get that first professional contract for any club. I think it's like a huge thing for most kids who wish to be professional football players. So yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you very much for coming along and doing this interview with us. And I wish you all the best for the season ahead.
Thanks very much. No problem.